So we're excited to share this resource with you, and our services is what we do, because we can be a great option for your families, a great option for you as business owners to be able to convert and to get more placements with the existing clients that you already have. And I think that'll be really obvious when we're done here. You know, I mentioned that we're part of senior living, and we've now started to become the standard in this senior living sales process. Again, whether it's placement or a care community or a veterans benefits, but now after almost 3 years, we're starting to be recognized as, hey, we're the ones that can be plugged in, that are compassionate and care for families and help for them during that move-in process. So a lot of people are like, what is Mom's House and what do we do? So when Mom gets the news that she needs to move into assisted living or memory care or skilled nursing, many times daughter Judy and the other adult children are challenged with all the different decisions that have to be made, where to place Mom. They don't want to make a mistake. And one of the things they find out is that senior living can be very expensive, and the family may not be prepared to pay for that. And Mom may be cash poor, but what she does have is a lot of equity, or may even own her home outright. What we actually do is we actually buy the house as is in any condition anywhere in the United States to help Mom to get moved in a few weeks, versus what could take 2 or 3 months in a traditional sales process for selling a house. You know, we know that the families live over 400 miles away on average. Many times adult children are flying in from some other city, which is really normal for us to be working around their schedules and understanding that. Or many times maybe the seniors moving from another city to a care community that's near where the adult children are, and they have a house that they need to deal with. The other thing that we can help with that we know is very overwhelming for the family is all the stuff. You know, the stuff sometimes, as you know, can be as challenging as the house itself. And so we surround the families with the resources. If they have stuff that's valuable and it has value, we can connect them with a resource, somebody like a Caring Transitions or statesales.net, or a company that buys antique cars or vinyl albums or those kinds of things, to maximize the money from Mom's stuff that she can't move into assisted living. Now, if it's more of a aggressive collector or a hoarder situation, then we also can help with that too. The journey has been, for the last 30 years, is to hire a real estate agent. And we are not real estate agents. We don't follow the traditional path, and we don't charge any fees to the family. So there is no cost to you or the family to engage our services or give a family options. You know, today, even in this hot market, it's almost impossible to find contractors. And so the families are being told by realtors, typically the first thing you do is clean this place out, get it ready for sale. And if you do these 2 or 3 things and rehab these areas, you'll get top dollar to get the most money out. The challenge was that is just all the logistics, as you know, is, you know, the family thinks they can clean a house out in one weekend, which we all know takes weekends or could even take months. Getting the house ready, getting on the market, getting contractor bids, getting things hired, getting that done to get top dollar, are all things that take a lot more time than the family ever expects. And the family doesn't know any better. There's just never been another option until Mom's House to help with the selling process. The family thinks they can rehab it. And I want to share a couple of slides that'll be a great resource that you can use with your families to help move your families along in the process. Cost versus value is a third-party guide that's been around for 20 years. It's from a remodeling industry. And what it does is it shows what the amount of money that the family puts into doing a rehab or fixing something up, and how much value do they get out of it. And what's really surprising is that when you look at this is an example in Charlotte, and then on the right side, you see the national averages. Many times the family's only getting 50, 60, sometimes 70 cents on the dollar. So that's for every $10,000 they spend to fix the house up, they're only getting $5,000 to $7,000 back in value. But they don't know that. They don't realize that. This is a great tool that you can go search. I'll go back one slide. You can go in and choose which region you're in. It's always fun to look at what it is there. But this is Charlotte, and these are kind of the national averages. So this is an example of some things that a family might do to get top dollar if they were remodeling their house. You can see here, if they were to go out and spend this $75,000 to do that, they're really only getting $50,000 or $49,000 in value. The family's actually losing $25,000 just by taking on the rehab project. The next thing that's interesting is, or hang on a second, I am so sorry, for some reason this is not staying in presentation mode. Okay, the next challenge that we have is, we all know we're dealing with a terrible inflation right now, and the cost of materials are just really, and it's gotten expensive, and that's making the problem worse. And with the amount of work that's going on in the contracting world right now, and the hot real estate market and the new build, you've got a lot of contractors that are have raised their prices significantly just because they know that they can. The other thing is that, bridge loans, which there are some companies that are out there that provide bridge loans in the senior living industry, aren't a good solution because they end up costing the family more money. These bridge loans are typically 10% or more. They have some origination points. And so when a family goes out and they think that a bridge loan is a good solution, they're typically getting that bridge loan to do two things: get mom moved into care because they're waiting to get the house sold. And then that money's also being used to say, we're doing things to upgrade the house, which, if you look at the cost versus value, we know they're borrowing money at 10% to put it into a project that they're going to lose money. And so a lot of this is just not known by the family or senior living, and we're shining a big bright light on it, that what's been the standard for the last 30 years may not be the best fit. And so when a family looks at it and they look at the left side, which would be the full retail value for a house that's in good condition and ready to go, the family's not taking into account that there's 6% commission. So if you have a $300,000 house, you've got $20,000 of commissions. You've got clean out expenses. You've got mortgage insurance and different expenses that you have with that family going in while they're in that timeline to get that house ready to sell. And so when you add all this up and you look at where we can come in and offer the family an as-is, very fair offer right away, we can get the family's house closed in weeks instead of months, and get mom moved into senior living as quickly as possible. So, we're getting them moved in a lot faster, but we're also, what's more important is we're getting mom to medication management and nutrition and socialization and all of those things, just to increase the quality of mom's life, all while making sure that we get mom moved in right away, so we're avoiding any additional risks for a fall. So all of what I've shared with you is really what we share with senior living, what we're sharing with the family, and trying to get the family to understand, helping these families make the right choice. Is it to spend time with mom, or is it take on a rehab project? And if we knew mom only had 2 more years of life, we know the families, if they had the right information, they could make the right choice, that it's about spending time with mom, and it's not about taking on a rehab project at that time. So we can help your families, all the families you're working with. 72% of those families are going to have a house they're going to need help with. And we can be an option, a no obligation offer that we can come in and make an offer for the house and give all the families you're working with another option. They may not take that option, and that's okay. But I can promise you that with all the different resources we have, and we're working with families, we're going to be leaving them better than when we met them. And so being able to introduce our program as another option for your families is a great way to help. So how do we do that? What's that look like? And so all over the United States, we have a gigantic network of senior transition specialists. We have over 1,000 senior transition specialists in the Mom's House program. And those people have all been trained not on the real estate side of the business, but on the what's happening with the family. So we do this as a live course. We have an online academy, continuing education credits, and we do that. We have a huge mentorship, 7 live calls a month that anybody can get in and out of that are part of our transition network, just to make sure that we're keeping everybody up to speed and where their challenges are. And what we're teaching is about that compassion or empathy to be having with the family at this crisis mode when the family's trying to work through this. We're specific only to senior living. And so we're teaching them about senior living industry, who the stakeholders are, what that family journey looks like, all so they can approach it with a much more sympathetic approach than what a traditional real estate agent or a real estate investor might do. And we like to have fun. This is a fun picture I like to throw in because we're always giving back or sponsoring and doing things. And this is one of our classes in January. And we had sponsored senior bingo and pizza and called bingo. And it was great fun for both all of our transition specialists that were there for that particular month. And of course, all the seniors where we do that. Our training center is in Chesterfield, Missouri, which is in St. Louis. And so those people fly in. Last month, we had almost 90 people in our class going through that to go out and go do good in the world, to go help families. Just a couple of other senior living industry people that are giving us props. This is a advisor, a care advisor that works for Oasis, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And what happened was that we had somebody that was stuck in a bed that didn't have any family, and they needed to move very quickly to get this person safely to care. And we were able to get involved and get this house bought in 8 days and get that cash unlocked so they could get it moved in. And the family looked at us and just their description for our transition specialist there was, Bill was an angel. And so, we're there to help solve the problem. We're going to be compassionate. This is an executive director. We work with a lot of care communities all over the country. And so the executive directors and the VPs of finance and marketing are seeing us as another solution, something else we can bring to the table to help families. Tani, she did a great testimonial. And I just mention it because one of the things that she says, and she's doing this testimonial and starts to cry. This testimonial is on our website. But what was so touching is that she started to cry because she wasn't being judged by the shape of the house. She had flown in from Florida. She had a family transitioning in Kansas City. And she started to cry because she's like, I wasn't judged because of the way the house smelled, what kind of shape it was in. The senior had not been into the basement. She was going into memory care, so there was dementia. Didn't realize there was raw sewage being dropped into the basement, and so just coming in and being able to hand that, and ended up getting her 5 to 6 times more money than she ever expected to get out of the house. Erin is great because she lived somewhat close, but she still had to commute 90 minutes each way. And just as you know, the challenges with adult children, they have their own lives. They're getting pressure from care communities, the pricing, the siblings that aren't local questioning every move. And so we're very used to working with the adult children. The entire business has been built on compassion. There's no fees. There's no real estate agents involved. There's no closing costs. There's no fees to care communities. There's no fees to you guys as part of the program. You're just looking at us as being this other amazing service that we can come and really help you guys, help all your families, move them along. And what's really exciting is that you've got a lot of the families, most of the families you work with aren't ready for placement, but we can be a great tool to help those families move them along in a meaningful way. So we know the house and the stuff is a big deal. If we can get the house taken care of and that family's ready to go to senior living and they have the money, they're ready to go, and we can help them get moved in much faster. So some of the benefits of using our program, obviously the getting mom moved into care faster is really where we're at and what our biggest focus is. We can help you get more prospects moved in with those families you already work. 70% of them are going to have a house. A lot of them are going to say, well, we don't know, we're not ready. I'm sure you hear all the time, oh, what's your time frame? Oh, 3 to 6 months. The families just aren't ready. They're stressed. They don't know what to do. And so we can be another great resource there. Giving families another option besides having to go through a traditional real estate agent, and helping them to understand they can end up very close to where they'd be, but they can end up in a matter of weeks and not months. And the adult children appreciate this because they're the ones that are taking on these. And then there's an opportunity for you to receive a referral fee. For each one of the referrals that you refer to us, we have a program where we can pay you a fee, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So how's it work? How's it work to refer a family to us? So today you're going to be referring a prospective resident or adult child, and most of the time we are working with the adult child. We get a transition specialist assigned by zip code. The transition specialist will meet with the family and make an offer, and depending on what the family's timelines are and meeting them at their needs, they'll close. Then as soon as they close, the family has the money the same day that they close, so they have the money to get moved into senior care. So our biggest challenge and what we want to make sure is that is that we're streamlining the process for the family. We don't want to have the wrong transition specialist get assigned. And so referring it through our centralized contact center or through our systems, which we'll talk about in here a second, it makes sure that we get the assignment right the first time. You know, the families are already getting all kinds of phone calls. The families, you know, if they've opted in, you know, on some kind of a lead aggregator site, they may be getting blown up from different care communities or different things and you're working with. And so we want to make sure we get it. And it's about protecting that family and that senior and getting them moved to care faster. You know, we also have some other things. When you refer through us, we're making sure that the quality assurance, we'll be touching base with the family to make sure we understand what their experience is. And once we get it assigned, we'll be connecting you with who it got assigned to, what transition specialist did it get assigned to, and getting a status back as far as did they meet with the family, what happened, where is it, were they able to buy the house? We're making sure that these people are continuing to get continued education as far as making sure they're on top of it and that they're current as part of our program. And when you use our system and you refer families to us, we place you as a priority for outbound referrals. I had a referral for you guys. It came in over the weekend and I sent it over, and it sounds like you guys do not have somebody in Las Vegas that could cover that. So I was hoping that we would get that assigned on this call. That would have been fun. But when you refer to us, we'll refer to you. And you know, a big part of this is about preserving our core values. It's about taking care of the family, always putting daughter Judy first. We just want to protect the family and our brand and our values at Mom's House all across the United States. So how does it work today? Today we've got a little bit of a Band-Aid in your All You area. You'll see this Mom's House and this submit button that you can click on it. And when you click on it, it will take you to this form where you can share the information. The first contact is typically the adult child, or if you're working with the senior directly, then you'd put the senior's name in here, phone number, email if you have it, any notes that you want to share with us. And then we need the full address. That full address and zip code is what it tells us where the house is, so we make sure that we get it assigned. What's coming soon and what we're working on with your technology team is getting the connection between our two systems, the connection. So you'll be able to, Caroline, I'll answer that in just a second. Good question. You'll be able to use All You, and you won't have to fill out that form because you already have that in your CRM, and then you'll be able to just click a button, so then it will submit that to you. Caroline, I think your question was, will they identify themselves as Mom's House? It's yes and no. Yes, they have a senior transition specialist certification through our program, and they're part of our trusted network. They may be running another business related to buying the house. So they're to go out and actually buy the house. So you may see Mom's House, or you may see both their business name and the Mom's House name. I know some of you have met with some of our Mom's House transition specialists, or may have seen them in your local markets. So let's talk about what that referral program is. So a qualified referral is that contact information, the full address, a phone number, and that the family has at least raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in receiving a no obligation offer to buy the house. And if they need help with the stuff, we can help with that too. And so just those three things is a qualified. It doesn't matter if they buy the house or not. It's not tied to the outcome of buying the house. So for each one of those referrals, you would receive between $50 to $100 for those referrals. So giving you a tool that can help you get people moved in faster, that can give family more options, a good option, maybe the best option, working with families outside of your market that are moving into your market, and just giving more options. For each one of those, we will pay a referral fee. And soon we're about to go live with our next revision on our technology stack, and that is to allow you, and so you can set up a profile on our system. So you'll be receiving an email that says click here, and you'll be able to set that up, and that'll tell us which counties that you work with families in. So if you have a house that needs help, or if we have a placement referral that comes in, we can actually get it assigned to you right away. We do get those referrals coming in. So I wouldn't expect this program to say you're going to get a bunch of referrals, but typically the referrals that come in are much higher quality. They're at a flash point. Some of you may be using some of the things like a Seniorly or other things like that. That's not what we're building. These referrals are coming to you, and today we're not looking for any referral fees. We just want to get these families help. We're trying to surround them with resources. Maybe we're talking to them about the house and it comes up they need help making a selection for a care community in their market or in a different market. And so that's actually the family that came in that was looking for Las Vegas yesterday lives in California, and the other adult child lives somewhere on the East Coast. And so they need help in Las Vegas. So you'll be able to get that set up soon. Think of us as a tool to streamline that whole process, get people moved in quicker, not having to go through all the different challenges and all the different points that are part of that traditional journey. And we just love to be a resource here to help you guys. Today, you'll be able to find us in that all you, and clicking there and filling that out. And that'll come into our system nationally. We'll get it assigned, and then we'll let you know that it got assigned, who it got assigned to. And so then we'll continue to give you that feedback loop of kind of where things are in the process. And so I'd like to open it up maybe to some questions. I am not seeing the chat, but they popped up while I was presenting. So if somebody can help, just tell me the questions that are in the chat.
So the first one was, are you more active in certain parts of the country, or does the help of national partners help you work in almost any large city?
So we with 1,000 transition specialists, we have really strong coverage almost everywhere, and that's building by 50 to 100 areas almost every month right now through our training. So yes, I would say that. What market are you in? Whoever had the question.
That was Robert. And Robert, you're in Southwest Houston, is that correct?
We have 3 or 4 transition specialists in Houston. A lot of the markets, depending on the size of the market, could have 3 or 4 different transition specialists in it.
Fantastic. Then we have another question from Brent. What is your offer to the family for the home based on?
It's based on what the family. So let's say the house is worth $300,000 if it's in the right condition, for the market. If that property needs $100,000 worth of work because it needs a roof or foundation or other things to get it to that point, now we're kind of at that baseline of $200,000. And because there's no fees for realtors, there's no 6% there on that $300,000 house, that puts another $20,000 of room in there. And so an offer for something like that might come in at $170. So it's going to be very close to what it would be. And a lot of people say, well, how do you make money? Well, that $100,000 of work that the family would go and pay retail to do that work from a contractor, as real estate investor professionals, we can go do that depending on what it is, maybe for 30 to 40 cents on the dollar, because we have our own crews, wholesale pricing, those things. Even at 50 cents on the dollar in this example, leaves room for the real estate investor to provide value into the property and then be able to sell it to make money after the fact. A lot of people are like, what do they do with the properties? It really doesn't matter because they've already bought it and closed. But I've been a real estate investor for 15 years. So I have a large portfolio of rental properties. My strategy has been to buy a property, fix it up, and hold on to it. Some people are going to buy it and they're going to fix it up and get it ready for retail to flip it. So it just depends on the strategy of the person that's buying it.
And I think you might have just answered Carolyn's next question. Who typically chooses to be a transition specialist with you, investors or flippers?
So those Carol are the same thing. I guess if you look at an investor, somebody that just puts the money in, but the people that are in our program are actually people that are actually touching the house. And so what's really interesting is over the last 2.5 years, very similar to assisted living locators or anybody that's got a large contingency in senior living, we're attracting these people with the right heart condition, these people that are empathetic and they want to help. And the average age for our transition specialists is over 55 years old. And many of those people have been through this journey on their own with a loved one. And so they're seeing, wow, I can go out and build a really meaningful business to go out and help families and do something that helps and still make money. And so we're attracting a lot of people that are already in senior living too. People that like what I consider a power couple, somebody that's a elder law attorney and their spouse does real estate investment, or a hospice chaplain and their spouse is a real estate investor or have a real estate investment business. And so, yeah, it's just a really, really great group of people that are in our program.
Fantastic. And then I also just want to reiterate. So right now, that the way that we get a lead to Mom's House is you have to fill out the form. The form is hosted on All You, and we'll also share it in the weekly digest. That's until we have that API integration complete. And then hopefully it's as easy of a click of a button and it would send a referral over to Mom's House. And then Ben, will you just remind us what qualifies a referral?
Absolutely. Let me see if I can just bounce back a.
Perfect. So contact name.
Yep.
Phone
This is
number.
where you're going to go when you hit that button. So contact one, typically daughter Judy, unless the senior is, you're working with the senior directly and there's not a family member there or POA. The contact two would be the senior's name. We're not going to reach out to the senior if their name is in contact two and somebody else's name is in one. We're going to work with the family. The notes section is there just to say things like, daughter Judy's not going to answer your phone call if she doesn't recognize your phone number. Text her first. She's expecting you to contact her. Or that daughter Judy is really compassionate and she's there, but her sister Karen, who lives out of town, is a real Karen. And so, those kinds of things can help just to help with that streamlining, that continuity of contacting the family there. We do have to have the address and the zip code in the city. So you got to make sure that goes in there. That's how we assign. And when you provide all of those things, then we have the ability to provide a referral back to you guys, that referral fee.
Perfect. Yep. So very important. You need to make sure you have the actual home address and zip code that wants to be sold. And the way that payment's going to work is if you send that referral to Mom's House and it's a qualified lead, then they will pay us at corporate and we will ACH your accounts. You will need to report that on your royalty reports. And that will be the only fee. Let's see. What is the time frame of the referral payment?
You know what? I don't know if we've decided that. We've done anything from quarterly to annually, depending on the relationship. So we're pretty flexible and open to that. Whatever makes the most sense.
Perfect. Then we got another question here. Should I be thinking about a transition specialist in my city region, or is this specialist serving a different city/region?
So the transition specialist will typically be in your city. If you can ask that person what city they're in, that'd be great. But they're going to be in your city. Or the one big difference and the additional value that that our transition specialists provide is if they're not in your city, but maybe you're 30 minutes or an hour from where they are, that's okay, because they're not a real estate agent. They're not looking to put a sign in the yard and do showings. They're going to go meet with the family. So we've had transition specialists drive as far as 5 or 6 hours and spend a half a day with the family. It just depends on what their strategy is. What city was that the person asked that question in?
Salem, Oregon.
Okay, yeah. So Oregon, I don't know. Salem is just south of Portland, I think. We've got some folks. We got 3 or 4 people that cover in Oregon, so I don't think that'll be a problem at all. Human bean coffee.
And that is it for the chat box. If anybody wants to unmute and feel free to ask questions.
If you're asking a question, you're still muted.
All right. Well, it looks like you did an amazing presentation, and there are no other questions that they have at this time.
Yeah, and I'll just bounce. I'm easy to find, and very involved on the day-to-day with the business. You're probably not seeing my screen, it looks like. Let's see, back at that. Well, I don't know, you're not seeing there. Well, there's a, sorry about that. I just went to my second screen. Now you're seeing a little bit of Sicily there.
Beautiful.
Well, okay, I was trying to put my contact information back up there. Boy, we're really challenged with this GoToMeeting stuff.
GoToMeeting is definitely a different. We did get one last question out there.
Sure.
Are there opportunities to meet and network with specialists in our area?
Yes, so we encourage, we want the relationships to be in the local area, but just using our system to come through so we can pass on that referral and we can manage that handoff. But I know that you may have already gotten or may get a phone call from somebody that's a transition specialist that's in your market. So we're teaching them to go out and go network and go fill their resource stable with different people locally, so they've got stuff to go to the family with. So yes, that's you will meet them, you will get connected, just using our system to come through the system. If you're not using the referral system that we have in place, we're not paying the referral fees, and that you're not in line to receive referrals from us to you as they come in. We want to make sure daughter Judy's taken care of, and so we have the technology and the systems in place that we're doing follow-up there and making sure that we're staying on top of all our transition specialists to make sure that the brand is intact and that everybody's having the best experience the way they're expected.
Absolutely. And Mom's House will also be at the national conference. So we are super excited about that. They are sponsoring the national conference. So you will see Ben and possibly a member of his team. I believe you said there was going to be 3 of you.
Yeah, it'll be myself and Aubrey and Jody probably.
Fantastic. So they will be there. You'll be able to talk with them, get to know them a little bit better. But if there's any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to us at Franchise Support, and we will pass that along to Mom's House team. And we will also send out the form in the weekly digest, so you will have that as well. And thank you so much, Ben, for joining us, and Aubrey as well. Anything else for us and the team today?
No, we're just really excited to have you guys be on board the program, and very excited about getting this put together and getting it connected to your CRM. That'll make it a little less steps, but bear with us. I think that's going to happen very quickly. The tech teams are already have talked through specs and all those things. So I would suspect that in the next 60 days that's got to be live.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for presenting to our team today, and we look forward to this partnership. Thank you so much, Ben.
Thank you.